Journey into Devarahi and the 6 mystic swindlers. The elaborate story of a stubborn seeker, Part 2. Journey into Devarahi and the 6 mystic swindlers. This is Part 2. If you are driven by karma and a mystic force runs you, what can you do? Tantra can easily misguide you. Journey into Devarahi. First of its kind, audio serial. Bhargav was looking into the divine face of Savitri in the photograph that was hanging right before him upon the wall. Her face could convey 1,000,000 expressions. That smile was so pure and innocently beautiful. She was a very happy young lady when she entered Amulya. Yes, Amulya, this house where several relatives, friends and famous personalities visited and appreciated every inch of it and every being in it. Amulya was not brick, stone and walls. It was the dream house of Bharadwaj Shahi. Bharadwaj Shahi was a renowned herbal doctor in those days when there was no electricity, no hospitals, not so many doctors, transport, roads, so many facilities and avenues. He had several famous personalities from all over the country to visit him day and night. Amulya Bharati was his wife, who was a great Krishna devotee, and she was writing her own hymns praising God. Amulya Devi had a great pleasure in feeding the poor, the animals, birds, and everyone and all who visited this house. This was not such a big house then. It had no name. There was a very old house with thatched roof and a vast open land all around. There were several cows, few peacocks, parrots, a black horse and a tiger-like dog, Tandav. That was the name which Bhargav loved. The dog was his dearest friend. He still could recollect those splendid mornings when the sun was about to rise, when Tandav would come running to him, wagging his tail, wake him up and take him out for a long run all around into the trees and hills. Darapuram was a very small village then, but it has changed many colors over the years. Many times. It is now almost a very big town. Bharadwaj Shahi and Amulya Devi were embodiments of love, kindness, compassion and gratitude. Though they expected nothing, there were thousands of adorers who brought home several gifts and money for the untiring, caring and sincere healing. Many chronic patients who could not get up from their bed were surprisingly healed. Bharadwaj Shahi was humble and calm. His wife Amulya Devi would say, "It is Krishna Bhagavan who manifests miracles." Bhargav's eyes were wet when he recollected the past. His grandparents were living gods on earth. They had 2 sons, Govind Shahi and Vasudev Shahi. Govind Shahi was a great doctor, a qualified medical doctor who did not want to practice that profession. He told his father clearly, "No doctors can match you. Many ailments which science could not diagnose or heal, you are doing it with herbs, plants and your power of divinity. I love plants and trees. I love farming. Please permit me to be with you and grow all the herbs, plants and develop cattle and farming." Dada would never say anything against anybody. Govind too was a miracle. He did develop a huge farming empire and the neighboring villages came to see the silent green revolution. Then entered the notorious wolf Veeranarayana. Veeranarayana. He was a money manipulator, worked for the British before independence, and claimed to be well associated with the freedom fighters. He had an eye on the farmland and he offered a huge price to own it. But Dada humbly rejected the offer, saying the land is Govind's empire and our only pride. Veeranarayana left Dada silently but pursued the matter through many of his friends and mediators. Even Govind said no initially. After few months, Govind revealed it to Dada that he was in love with Pavitra and he was very much bent upon marrying her. Bharadwaj Sahi and Amulya Devi could not say no to him. They all went to the girl's house and everyone liked Pavitra. But Vasudev Sahi, the younger son, did not like them. Vasudev Sahi, the second son of Bharadwaj Sahi, was an ordinary clerk working for Bapu and Bapu Associates, the then renowned law firm. He was a great artist who enjoyed painting nature, animals and deities. He even wrote wonderful poetry which received several awards. He too was honest but very short-tempered. His wife was more than a daughter to Dadaji. She took care of the entire family with great devotion. Bhargav Sahi was their only son. During the marriage, the entire family was shocked to know that Narsimha was the younger brother of Veeranarayana. But nothing changed. Govind married Pavitra and Vasudeva was very disturbed. What else could he do? He would spend days at the office and nights in his room painting and writing. His parents could very well read his emotions but could do nothing but stay spectators. Amulya Bharati, Vasudev's mother, convinced him. God decides everything, Govind. When things are in our favor, we jump in joy and claim its merits. But when things go out of our hands, we blame him. All incidents and every relationship is predestined. We should not lose our balance. Krishna will take care. What has this girl to do if Veeranarayana was her uncle? You and Govind are not same. Veeranarayana and Narsimha will not be the same. Govind loved Pavitra. Will Govind fall for her if Pavitra was evil? He is wise and matured enough to judge them. You don't worry. Within no time, you two will be married. Yes, it was destiny. Pavitra and Govind were married. It was a costly marriage and there were several government officials, business tycoons and politicians at the celebration. It was the power show of Veeranarayana and the influence he had. India got independence and the Sahi family lost its glory, though it was the first chapter. Everything seemed to be going well for a year or so. The Republic Day was declared. Govind Sahi gradually lost his love for farming. He was moving around with his beloved wife Pavitra to highly influential parties and no one could realize the conspiracy cooking up. It was the first time Dada and Govind argued. Govind saw no future in farming. He said, "We are just few innocent frogs croaking inside a well. The world around is much bigger. We should have established an industry in our land. But it is too late now. I am attracted to politics and Veeranarayan uncle has introduced me to few stalwarts who appreciated me. Pavitra too has great knowledge and influence." His voice sounded harsh and reluctant. That was the first chapter where Dada was upset and expressed his love towards nature and plants. The topic ended abruptly and Govind was planning to relocate himself separate from the family. Pavitra expressed loudly that she was not interested in staying away from this house and Dada, but it sounded artificial. Vasudev was sharp. He understood that it is a plan. It all happened exactly as he predicted. Dada was discussing with his best friend about his dream project of building a beautiful house, and they were waiting. The project shaped up very well. Within 2 years, many things happened. Vasudev was married to Sudha. It was just one visit to their house, and everyone accepted Sudha, who belonged to a humble and down-to-earth teacher's family. The marriage happened in a very simple way, as Sudha's parents wanted it to be done as a tradition at Puri Jagannath Swami temple in Orissa. After Sudha had entered the house, Vasudev was totally transformed into a very dedicated saintly personality. His anger vanished. Kavyanidhi was born. The construction project was successfully accomplished. Several guests and priests graced the housewarming function. Meanwhile, Govind closed down the farming project and actively participated in political groups, enthusiastically building up his new career. He sent a very expensive gift from Delhi for the first birthday of Kavya. He apologized for his inability to come down personally. Day by day, Govind was lost into the glitters of high society. He was drawn towards luxury, entertainment, gambling, and alcohol. He was indeed clever, and he was getting what he wanted. He would write letters once in a blue moon and express his love towards parents and his younger brother Vasudev. He would promise to come home for festivals, but he would not. He was sending photographs of his association with big politicians and renowned business personalities. Vasudev Sahi was blessed with a second child, and that was the day when Bhargav Sahi opened his eyes into this world. Govind and Pavitra came home after a long gap. Along with them came Pavitra's father Narasimha and his one and only elder brother Veeranarayana, who was a totally different character. He would laugh out loudly suddenly. He would always make tall talks about his great influence. He would pretend humbleness with Dadaji. His looks and body gestures were quite disgusting. Vasudev Sahi and Sudha Sahi were smart enough to notice the difference. Govind held Bhargav into his hands and kissed him on his forehead. It was the first and last kiss which Bhargav received from his uncle. Pavitra auntie gifted Bhargav with a gold chain. The same day, something very interesting incident happened. An old sadhu along with two more were the sudden uninvited guests. The sadhu was an elderly tall man in huge saffron clothes, many rudraksha beads around his neck and arms, bhasma all over his forehead, big sandal paste applied, and red kumkum powder tilak. He was holding a 6 feet snake-like stick, something like a magic wand, in his hand, and a huge red bag hanging to his shoulder. Along with him, there were two more young sadhus who were his disciples. Bharadwaj Sahi was overwhelmed with joy. Dadaji and Dadiji touched the feet of sadhus, and the guests were pin-drop silent all along. Pranam Maharaj, said Dadaji reverently. The elderly sadhu was Achaldev Maharaj, who stays in Himalayas. Every 7 years he would come down to visit Dadaji. He was the one who told Dadaji even before Vasudev Sahi was married, "Name the boy Bhargav. When Vasu is blessed with a son, I will come again after he is born. Bhargav will be a silent revolution. He is like Parashurama. He will be a very silent boy, but he will be a volcano if ruptured. Give the boy more love than for me." These words, Amulya Devi revealed it to Bhargav when he was just 9 years old, when Achaldev Maharaj came home again to bless him. Dadaji was more concerned about Govind. He was unhappy that his eldest son and daughter-in-law have not become parents. Achalanand Maharaj smiled at Dadaji and told him a big secret. God has his own plans. We always fail to know his Leela. Just be proud of Kavyanidhi and your little Bhargav. Of course, Govind will become a father soon, but he will be born with a different purpose. Govind is a toy in the hands of Veeranarayana, who is a puppet in the hands of Chhatri Baba. Vasudev's son is not a toy or a puppet. He will be a deadly weapon, he said loudly. Bharadwaj Sahi and Amulya Devi were shocked. They were shaken. Dadi could not resist it. She fell down fainted. Bhargav asked Dadi, why? Who? What weapon? Who is Chhatri Baba? She did not reply. After Bhargav questioned her several times, she replied, I have no right to reveal it to you. When time comes, you will know all the details. Until then, don't be curious to know more. It was a stern voice and Bhargav remained silent. Bhargav was looking at the beautiful photo hanging up on the wall, Savitri and Bhargav. Tears rolled out of his eyes. He sat down upon the carpet and was struggling to silence his mind. He was unable to catch up his sleep. He was no more craving for tasty dishes. He is totally changed. Who is Chhatri Baba? Why is all this so happening? Where is Savitri? Journey into DEVARAHI and the 6 mystic swindlers. The elaborate story of a stubborn seeker. It reveals layer by layer, chapter by chapter, to continue. Mitraaya namaha. Please subscribe to Energy Circle's VSPTenneti channel. Many powerful mantras, ritualistic sadhanas, slokas, remedies, empowerment episodes, and amazing guided meditations. Thousands of lives uplifted. Amazing transmogrification. Every video is fresh and unique. They are all from the originator's chamber. Thousands of miracles, spine-chilling positive experiences. I solo you. Please be with me. Please subscribe to Energy Circle's VSPTenneti channel. Aditya Sakshi, Sampurna Raksha.